Every single day, someone is trying to manipulate you. And you probably do not even notice. Your boss does it. Advertisers do it. That one friend who always gets their way does it. Even social media algorithms are designed around principles of psychological manipulation. The scary part is not that it happens. The scary part is how effective it is. Studies show that the average person is exposed to over 3,000 persuasion attempts every single day. Most of them work. Most of them fly completely under your radar. But here is the good news. Once you understand how these tricks work, they lose their power over you. Knowledge is the antidote to manipulation. Today, we are going to break down 5 dark psychology tricks that people use on you every single day, and more importantly, exactly how to defend yourself against each one. Trick number 1. Manufactured urgency. Limited time offer. Only 3 spots left. Act now or miss out forever. This deal expires at midnight. You have heard these phrases 1,000 times. This triggers what psychologists call loss aversion. Research by Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky proved that humans feel the pain of losing something roughly twice as intensely as the pleasure of gaining something of equal value. Manipulators exploit this asymmetry constantly. They create artificial deadlines to prevent you from thinking clearly. When you feel urgency, your prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, gets overridden by your amygdala, the emotional fear center. You stop thinking and start reacting. A toxic partner says, "Decide right now if you want to be with me." A salesperson says, "This deal expires in 1 hour." A manager says, "I need your answer by end of day." A social media ad shows a countdown timer that resets every time you reload the page. The defense is surprisingly simple. When someone pressures you to act fast, slow down, deliberately, take a breath, tell them you need 24 hours. If a decision cannot survive 1 day of thinking, it was never a good decision in the first place. Ask yourself this question every time you feel rushed. Who benefits from my urgency? If the answer is not you, someone is manufacturing pressure to bypass your judgment. Trick number 2. The reciprocity trap. Someone does you a small, unsolicited favor. Then later, they ask for something much bigger, and you feel obligated to say yes. This is one of the oldest manipulation techniques in human history. Robert Cialdini, the godfather of persuasion research, identified reciprocity as the most powerful influence principle. It is hardwired into our social biology. For thousands of years, humans survived by cooperating in groups, and reciprocity was the glue that held those groups together. But manipulators weaponize this instinct. A coworker buys you coffee every morning for 2 weeks. Then they ask you to cover their entire weekend shift. A real estate agent gives you a free home valuation. Then they pressure you to list with them exclusively. A stranger on the street gives you a small gift, then immediately asks for a donation. A new acquaintance showers you with compliments and attention, then gradually starts asking for favors that escalate in size. The favor was never genuine. It was an investment. It was designed to create a psychological debt that you feel compelled to repay even when the repayment far exceeds the original gift. The defense. Recognize that a gift with strings attached is not a gift. It is a transaction disguised as generosity. You are allowed to say thank you and still say no. You do not owe anyone your time, your energy, or your compliance just because they gave you something you did not ask for. The key phrase to remember is this: "I appreciate that, but I am not in a position to help with this. No explanation needed. No guilt required." Trick number 3. Gaslighting through minimization. You are overreacting. It was just a joke. You are too sensitive. Why do you always make everything such a big deal? Can you not take a joke? I think you are imagining things. This is a form of emotional manipulation that makes you doubt your own perception of reality. The manipulator does something harmful, and when you react, they redefine your reaction as the problem. The focus shifts from what they did to how you responded. The term gaslighting comes from a 1944 film where a husband systematically manipulates his wife into believing she is going insane. But you do not need a malicious mastermind to experience gaslighting. It happens in ordinary conversations, in workplaces, in friendships, and especially in romantic relationships. Over time, repeated minimization rewires how you process your own experiences. You stop trusting your feelings. You start apologizing for having emotions. You begin to question whether your experience is even valid. You develop a habit of checking with the other person before allowing yourself to feel anything. This is extraordinarily dangerous because it attacks the foundation of your identity, your ability to trust your own mind. The defense. Trust your rational judgment. If something hurt you, it hurt you. No one else gets to decide that for you. The moment someone tells you that your feelings are wrong, that person is trying to control your reality. Keep a journal. Write down what happened, what was said, and how you felt. When someone later tries to rewrite the story, you have a factual record. Gaslighters rely on your memory being fuzzy. A written record destroys that advantage. Trick number 4, intermittent reinforcement. This is the most addictive manipulation pattern in existence. It is the exact same mechanism behind slot machines, and it is devastatingly effective in relationships. Someone gives you attention, then withdraws it. They are warm and loving one day, cold and distant the next. They praise you effusively on Monday, ignore you completely on Tuesday, criticize you on Wednesday, then shower you with affection on Thursday. Your brain becomes obsessed with figuring out the pattern. When will the next reward come? What did I do to deserve the punishment? How can I earn the good version of this person back? This is not love. This is operant conditioning. B.F. Skinner discovered in the 1930s that the most addictive reward schedule is not constant reward. It is unpredictable reward. A rat that gets a pellet every time it presses a lever will eventually lose interest. A rat that gets a pellet randomly will press the lever obsessively, thousands of times, even when rewards stop entirely. The same principle applies to human relationships. The unpredictability creates a chemical addiction in the brain. Dopamine spikes not when you receive the reward, but when you anticipate it might come. The uncertainty is the hook. This is why people stay in toxic relationships. Not because the good times are amazing, but because the unpredictability creates a neurochemical dependency that mimics addiction. The defense: judge people by their patterns, not their peaks. If someone consistently makes you feel unstable, that is not passion. That is not intensity. That is control. Write down how someone makes you feel every day for 2 weeks. The pattern will become undeniable. Trick number 5, identity labeling. You are the smart one. You are the responsible one. You are the one I can always count on. You are so mature for your age, you are the strong one in this family. This sounds like a compliment, but it is a cage. Once someone labels your identity, they can use that label to control your behavior forever. You are too smart to complain about this. A responsible person would not question this decision. If you were really as strong as I think you are, this would not bother you. I always count on you. Do not let me down now. The label becomes a leash. You start acting not based on what you want, not based on what is healthy for you, but based on maintaining the identity that someone else assigned to you. You become trapped by a version of yourself that serves their interests. Children are especially vulnerable to this. A child labeled the quiet one might suppress their voice for decades. A child labeled the smart one might develop crippling perfectionism. A child labeled the strong one might never learn to ask for help. The defense: define yourself from within. Your identity is not what others call you. It is what you consistently choose to be when no one is watching. When someone gives you a label, ask yourself, does this label serve me or does it serve them? You are allowed to be smart and still ask for help. You are allowed to be strong and still feel pain. You are allowed to be reliable and still say no. Any label that removes your right to be fully human is a tool of control, not a compliment. Now here is the truth that ties all 5 tricks together. Every one of these techniques works by attacking the same vulnerability, your need for external approval. The manipulator senses that you want to be liked, accepted, valued, or included, and they exploit that desire like a lockpick in a cheap lock. The manufactured urgency works because you are afraid of missing out and being left behind. The reciprocity trap works because you want to be seen as a good, generous person. Gaslighting works because you trust other people's perceptions more than your own. Intermittent reinforcement works because you are addicted to the approval of someone who withholds it. Identity labeling works because you want to live up to how others see you. The common thread is external validation, and the universal defense is internal validation. When your sense of self comes from within, when you know who you are without anyone telling you, when your worth is not up for negotiation, manipulation has nothing to grab onto. You do not need to become suspicious of everyone. You do not need to see enemies everywhere. You just need to become so deeply rooted in your own truth that no trick, no technique, and no manipulator can shake you. The human mind is the most complex system in the known universe. Learn how it works, and no one can use it against you.